The desert of Akaf stretched endlessly under the burning sun. There lived a mighty nation called the People of Aad. They were blessed with enormous strength and tall, powerful bodies. They were known for building massive structures out of mountains. Their pillars rose high, touching the clouds. They believed no nation could ever defeat them. They used their strength with arrogance, not gratitude. They worshipped idols named Sameds, Ka and Haba. They bowed to stones while enjoying the gifts of Allah. Allah sent Prophet Hud from among them. He spoke gently to his people. "O my people, worship Allah alone. You have no God besides him." The leaders laughed and mocked him. They said, "Are you trying to forbid what our forefathers worshipped?" Hud replied calmly, "I am a trustworthy messenger to you." He reminded them of Allah's blessings, their strength, their wealth, their fertile lands. But they became more arrogant. Their leader shouted, "We are the strongest on earth." The Quran quotes them saying, "Who is mightier in strength than us?" Fusilat 41-15. Prophet Hud warned them, "Strength without faith becomes a curse." Years passed, but they refused to believe. Then Allah withheld the rain. Their sky turned empty and dry. Their fields withered and cracked. Animals collapsed under hunger. Children cried for water, but none came. Hud said, "Ask forgiveness. Allah will send rain." Instead, the people blamed their idols. They sacrificed animals in front of lifeless stones. But the sky stayed empty. Hud warned them again, "If you do not repent, punishment will come." They mocked even louder. Their leader Callan said proudly, "Bring the punishment you threaten us with." Their hearts became harder than stone. Years of drought passed, yet they still disbelieved. One day a large dark cloud appeared on the horizon. Children ran toward it with excitement. Women prepared buckets for rain. Men decorated their idols and celebrated. They believed their gods had finally answered. Hud A.S. warned them, "This cloud is not mercy, it is punishment." They laughed at him cruelly. Suddenly a cold wind blew across the desert. It was sharp like a knife against the skin. Animals began to panic and flee. Birds vanished from the sky. The cloud grew darker, black like the night. Thunder roared, but no rain fell. Then the wind struck. It ripped through homes and tents. People screamed as roofs flew away. Sand rose like violent waves from the ground. The storm grew stronger by the second. The wind lifted men into the air like dry leaves. Children clung to their mothers, but nothing helped. Their strongest warriors could not stand against the wind. Their idols fell, breaking into dust. They called their gods for help, but the idols were dead and silent. Hud A.S. gathered his followers in a protected house. They remembered Allah and stayed calm inside. The storm did not touch them. Only the disbelievers felt its wrath. For 7 nights and 8 days the storm raged. Al-Haqqa 69-6-7. The wind screamed like 1,000 angry beasts. Bodies flew, collided, and shattered against rocks. Their monumental buildings crumbled like sand castles. Their treasures were buried beneath the desert. Their pride was crushed by the storm they once mocked. On the final day, the wind suddenly stopped. There was silence, heavy and frightening. Every arrogant soul was dead. Only scattered corpses remained, twisted by the wind. The desert became a graveyard of a once mighty nation. Prophet Hud A.S. and his followers walked out safely. They saw only ruins and broken pillars. Quran says, "See how was the end of the disbelievers." Al-Araf 7-72. Hud A.S. led the believers to a fertile land far from Akaf. There Allah blessed them with peace and rainfall. New crops grew, animals prospered, children laughed again. But the world never forgot the ruins of Aad, a warning forever. The ruins of Aad lay silent beneath the sun, half buried by sand. The once tall pillars were now broken like the bones of giants. Travelers who passed by would tremble at the sight. No voices, no laughter, no footsteps remained from the proud nation. Only the howling wind remembered their arrogance. Hud A.S. and his believers traveled away from Akaf. Their hearts were heavy, yet grateful to Allah for protection. They reached a fertile valley surrounded by gentle hills. Fresh water flowed between rocks like a silver ribbon. They built their homes near the river and planted seeds of hope. The soil responded with crops richer than before. Their animals grew strong and healthy again. Hud A.S. taught his people to remember Allah in every blessing. "Never let pride enter your hearts," he said. They listened with sincerity, for they had witnessed Allah's power. Children grew up hearing the story of Aad as a warning. They would ask their elders, how could they deny Allah despite seeing His gifts? The elders replied, "Blessings become poison when hearts forget the giver." Hud guided them with wisdom for many years. He became not only their prophet but their teacher and protector. He reminded them to be just in trade, humble in speech, and kind to the weak. No one raised a palace to show off. They built homes of simplicity. People shared their crops, helped their neighbors, and avoided greed. The valley flourished with worship and gratitude. Every Friday, Hud stood before them to advise. The storm was not the punishment. Pride was the punishment. His words echoed in their souls like the wind echoed in the ruins of Ad. One evening, the sky turned red with the glow of sunset. Hud gathered his followers near the river. The breeze carried the scent of fruit trees and fresh soil. He spoke gently, his voice filled with mercy and experience. Power is not a sign of honor. Faith is honor. He looked at the youngest children and smiled. Teach your children not to be proud of strength or wealth. The people nodded, understanding every word. Years passed, and Hud's ruse grew older. His hair turned white like the dunes in the moonlight, yet his voice remained firm with truth. One morning he did not rise from his bed. The believers gathered around him with tears. Hud A.S. looked at them peacefully and said, "Worship Allah alone, and you will never be lost." With those final words, he returned to his Lord. His people wept, but they did not despair. They continued living with humility, as he had taught. His grave became a place of remembrance, not worship. No one prayed to him. They prayed for him. The story of Ad remained alive through their faith. They often told it to travelers who came through the valley. Some travelers believed instantly and joined them. Others left, ignoring the warning like Ad once did. Centuries later, the desert swallowed even more of Ad's remains. Sand moved like waves, burying history under layers of time. Occasionally, a fierce wind uncovered a broken pillar. People would stare and whisper. Here lived giants who forgot Allah. The Quran became the greatest witness to their story. It spoke not of legends but of real people who collapsed in pride. Their muscles could not save them. Their architecture could not protect them. Their idols could not speak to them. Only the wind spoke in the command of Allah. Hud A.S. taught mankind for all time. The greatest enemy of a nation is its pride. Empires rise with strength but fall with arrogance. Civilizations perish when they worship wealth more than truth. The ruins of Ad became a mirror for all nations to see themselves. Those who heard the story walked away either humbled or heedless, but the message remained unchanged through the ages. Power is temporary. Faith is eternal. Buildings crumble. Hearts live on in obedience. Wealth fades. Deeds remain. The wind that destroyed Ad still blows over the earth today. It reminds every generation that Allah controls every breeze. He gives life through the wind, and He takes life through the wind. He sends storms as warnings and breezes as mercy. Ad failed not because they lacked strength, but because they lacked gratitude. Their destruction was not in the storm, but in their disobedience. Their downfall was not in the wind, but in their arrogance. Their tragedy became humanity's lesson. Who is stronger than us? They once boasted. The desert answered with silence. The wind answered with destruction. Time answered with their extinction. The Quran answers forever. Allah is the most powerful. Learn before the wind returns with fury. Remember before pride blinds the heart. Bow to the one who controls the storm and the peace.